Hi. Hi, ladies. I am so excited to be here and be doing this live with you. Let me know if you can hear me and see me. Oh my god, I've been meaning to show up. I've been meaning to show you my real self, and as time goes by, I look back and I don't even realize the person that I was. If I told you my story the past 2 years, you'd be like, what? The past 2 years have been a very, um, not hard, but a very tough, tough years where I've been tested into being this type of person that wasn't really myself. So I am here to tell you to lead with authenticity, to lead with the power. We've been shamed to not recognize our power. We've been told that showing up as vulnerable, that showing up as emotional, it's not being in your power, and we've embodied this version of ourselves that maybe more masculine because of what we've been told. So we've disembodied the power that we have because of what we've been told. And this is not because of the person that you were shamed by. Maybe this was a person that really cared about you and just didn't want to see you get hurt because he or she was told by society that having these feminine powers, that being intuitive, that being emotional, that showing up as vulnerable was being weak. And I am here to tell you that is not true. I've been going through transformation through transformation through transformation, and I actually want to talk to you about what I've been going through the past 2 years, and it is mind blowing because you're not going to believe what I've been through. You're going to, or maybe you identify yourself with what I'm going through, So, to start off by saying that I had no idea that I wasn't showing up as authentic, that putting up a mask was the way that I was conditioned. And being, I guess, the way that I was raised, my perspective was that I needed to hold those who surrounded me, because there has to be some control in this. I don't want to say chaos, but that's the only word that's coming up for me. And so I needed to held it all together. I was told that I couldn't be a rebel. I was told that I couldn't cry out, because I was told that I was una llorona, that I cried too much. And that was just my way of releasing emotions. If you have a problem with it, sorry. And the past 2 years, I to tell you, to note it, like, transformation goes in a system. Transformation happens when you go from having the awareness, having the consciousness, noticing that you have some stuck issues. Maybe you're not having enough, maybe you're not accomplishing those goals that you want to accomplish. And then you're like, then maybe I am doing something wrong. That moment when you take responsibility into doing something different, that's the moment where you can change, where when you can introduce the terms of consciousness, the terms of awareness, and and then you ask yourself, like, if this is my problem, what am I doing wrong? What are my patterns? One of my patterns was that I was a people pleaser. Mind you, this has never happened in my life. Or, I mean, not a let's define that, because then we're not going to be understanding each other. I was the type of woman that needed to dim her light because I was afraid I was going to be too much. Because I was told that being that, showing up as a rebel, showing up as radical, I took every time I had something I was called to do, I took action. I didn't stop and question myself on what would happen. Like, I never saw myself as a failure. I never questioned my ability to success. But that shifted with those years. So the last 2 years have been testing me if this is kind of the road that I want to take in, and how nothing and nobody is going to come in my way. So I was dimming my light, obviously unconsciously, because I've been told that, showing up as a woman, as a sensual Latina woman, that could I couldn't speak my truth because other people would not like it. Obviously, this was going out behind, like running out in my subconscious system. I recently noticed and took perspective on this. However, we don't know what our subconscious beliefs are. We don't know. How can we take that step into doing something different? You have to realize what you want in life. You have to realize if you're attracting the wrong man, maybe you don't have the finances, and that's like, you're not going towards your goal. That's a clear result. That's a clear response from the universe that you have to do something different. I'm here to tell you and remind you that our subconscious mind, like, everyone will heal at their own time. But if you've been working towards something and it is not working out, it is because you have to do something different, but we don't realize this. So the past year, I've been tested, tested, and tested. I've gone from being super masculine, like having to do the thing, and showing up. And it seemed like I had a block, but really, I didn't have any freaking block. It was more like I wasn't showing up authentically. I would, let me give you an example so you can gain more perspective. And when, let's say, when my boyfriend would tell me something and I didn't want to do it, I would just say, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Like, yeah, sure, I'll do that thing that you want to do, just because I wasn't valuing what I wanted to do, just because I didn't had the my plans structured before he offered, to do this event, or to offer to come to this reunion, or whatnot. So if you do not put yourself first, if you do not um, notice your patterns, you're going to continue attract misaligned clients. You're going to continue to attract misaligned partners that are not going to make you any happy. Like, they're going to continue to repeat your patterns until you realize, until you hit your face against the wall. Oh, I'm feeling so inspired to do this, and I feel goosebumps because everybody everybody goes through something in their life that makes them wake up. You just need to figure out what you're doing and continue to repeat the thing over and over again. So I've basically this last 2 years I was showing up as a boss lady, but not giving that boss energy, that boss vibe in my relationship as well. And that's something that I've learned to become because of my past experiences, my past betrayals, and every experience that you go through makes you learn something. If you decide that that experience taught you something, it has to come from that decision that you want to learn something from this experience. Otherwise, you're going to continue to repeat it. There are some women that continue to choose the guy that cheats on her and continues to be with that guy that cheats on her, and and they don't realize that they have to choose differently. They go home. I mean, I don't really relate to this. However, I did learn how to choose the correct partner. I did learn that I needed this past 2 years. I needed to put myself first. However, we are prone because of the collective. This is something I talked about on the masterclass of the feminine rebellion. We are prone to self-abandon ourselves, whether we have a partner or whether we become pregnant with a child. If that happens too soon, it'll leave you almost lost after that happens, because you put that person first. This happens like unconsciously. You don't really notice after you end the relationship or you're completely miserable, years after the relationship, or years after you're done, like that child is a grown up, and then you're like, oh, I haven't done anything for myself, like what am I supposed to do now? And we don't realize that we can do something different for ourselves. Like we don't realize that we have the power to look within ourselves, to either have a job that's going to make us expand in ways that we couldn't even imagine, because um we don't have the capacity to think way beyond of what's going on our surroundings. So we have to be very careful what we tune into, that is in social media or even in YouTube. Like, watch people that inspire you, watch people that are like, um I don't know, something that you want to have. I want to have freaking complete freedom. If I have a job that's tying me down to a place, that's not the type of job that I'd like to have. I want complete freedom. I want to be traveling, I don't know, in Europe, in Egypt, in Japan, in Asia, and be able to take the calls or maybe courses or whatever it is that you want, but have the opportunity to do it anywhere and remotely. That is something that you should be looking into if this is something that you want. Like, if I hear somebody tell me that they want to have this freedom in their job and they're working a 9 to 5, that's fine, because now you notice what you truly desire. Maybe you want that freedom for yourself. So noticing that your desire can happen to you, maybe looking into like more positions, maybe looking into jobs that might be aligned with you, will shift this reality for you. You have to believe that you're worthy of this, otherwise you're not going to attract it. Otherwise you're going to be stuck in the complaint session, the complaint in the complaining part of this conversation. Sorry. So this has nothing to do with what you're doing. It is almost showing up without any masks. Showing up as everything that you were conditioned to be, drop it off. It feels so vulnerable. It feels so raw that you wouldn't believe that you're going to do it. Why? Because we've been taught and conditioned have to be loved if we accomplish certain things. You have to figure out what it is that you are conditioning yourself to be. So to have this type of lifestyle, this type of authenticity, this type of thing that you want to have, I guess, let me share my example. I've been raised to thinking that I needed to perform, I needed to show results, that I would this happens in your freaking mind. So if this is happening in your inner world, your outer world is just creating scarcity. If this is happening, if you're conditioning yourself to love, if you're conditioning yourself that you have to earn something, if you have to get validation to be loved, um, if you have to be a good girl, like follow the rules, this is sucking you freaking dry. This is sucking you dry because it is almost sucking the life out of you, because you're not showing up as your unique freaking magnetic self, because you're putting up a facade. You're putting up a an almost good girl outfit and saying, hey, please, come follow me, and and without having any boundaries, without being aligned with what you want, like letting people step over you, um, saying yes to things that are not aligned with you, accepting jobs that are not in alignment with who you are. Let me know if this makes sense, because I had this moment of realization that I was freaking hiding. I didn't notice that I was showing up like all giggly and all smiley while not wanting to be present in that moment. That has happened with family experiences, like me wanting my alone time because I needed to rest because of what I do. Takes because of what I do, and I needed to have that rest. However, that was not in. I was almost performing. I was almost hiding. People didn't see what the truth that I was holding on to, because it almost seemed sketchy. It was like the energy doesn't match with your actions. It was almost like, why is she smiling and the energy's off? Because I needed rest and I was still there. Meanwhile, I could have just said, "Hey, this is not my day. I don't want to be here. Like, visit me another time. I'm not available." Where were my boundaries? The minute I freaking started showing up as myself, the minute I started showing up as rebellious, as bold, as tender, as vulnerable, everything changed. Clients found me. My income became stabilized. My joy returned. I was I am living from alignment. The joy was so fulfilling. So to tell you the type, wait, where is this? To tell you the type of transformation that I've had, the type of transformation that I've had over the past years, you wouldn't believe me, because that was a different type of Greta that I don't even freaking recognize, and I had to go through them because these types of personalities, or these types of layers that we have as a woman, as a human being, they show up in different areas in your life. But if you're working towards something and that goal isn't happening and it's showing up in another area in your life, it is because it's telling you that you're not living in alignment. Authenticity creates an energy alignment, and that creates what's meant for you effortlessly, like magnetically. So to come into a conclusion, or into a truth, scarcity isn't just financially, isn't just one thing. It is all things. Scarcity can be emotional, spiritual, energetic. What does that mean? Whenever somebody, I mean, I've given a lot of examples, but let me think of another one that you might um, relate to. And it is when you are saying yes, but you mean no. That leads to burnout. When you're launching something and there's no excitement, like people are not going to want to buy from you. When you lead with authenticity, with that type of energy, that people will find you, the right person will come to you, it is a different type of attraction. So, uh, how do I explain this? Like, you just have to show up unapologetically. Like me, when I had when yesterday I told you the story about my investor. He didn't I didn't have any doubt. I was just, and I wasn't even asking him for something. When the investor showed up, I mean, I didn't even know he was going to be my investor for the swimwear and athletic line. I didn't know he was going to be my investor. I was simply just sharing what I wanted to do. And he needed to put his money in something that he wanted to grow on. So what happened? He invested in the business that I told him without thinking, because he was sold on the idea, on the vision that I had. He heard the truth on the big project. Later on, when I wanted to expand into sportswear, a friend was like, "Oh my god, I want to invest in your business." And that was when I learned that if you're going to invest with somebody that's going to be your friend, you need to understand that every person that you have in your team has a role for something. And if you're just doing, like, I didn't want just an investor, I wanted help in that area that I didn't want to work on. So, so I'm telling you this because this can happen for you. You just need to have a clear freaking idea of what you want to have. I'm going to share something that is new, sort of. I've been going through it for a couple of, not a couple of years, 1 year or so this year, and it's no longer resonating with me. I've been all about the routine, about freaking being disciplined, about showing up, and then you get the result, about showing up, trusting, and then getting the result. If you don't show up, do the work, and trust, there's nothing behind that. Like, this is easy to say, a different, completely different, by doing that thing. Trusting isn't just saying, oh yeah, just trust. No, it is feeling with your entire body that that is happening for you. So, um, I don't know if I should share this, but I'm going to. And it's that part of me that is no longer resonating with the linear. You know, I've heard many people, and I even talked about it briefly in other videos, that we are not meant to do the 9 to 5. We are not meant to be linear because we are cyclical as women. I am talking to you that you're a woman, I'm assuming, because we've learned and embodied that part of us that needs to create in a linear phase, to work a 9 to 5, not have any time to process what we're going through. And that forgets, like, that is not showing up in your authentic self. Why? Because when you're going through the pains, you have to pop up a pill. That's putting you in almost automatic. That's numbing the pain that you have, that is asking you, calling out for your help, to be transmuted, to be released, to whatever it is that you need to do that month. So, so this is something that I've been having trouble with. Oh my god. When I show up over here and feel vulnerable, it is, I think, one of the hardest things to do. I mean, I would have never thought that I was called to share my vulnerability, will inspire other women to do the same. However, it's just what I'm being called to share right now, and it is that is no longer resonating with me. Having a linear thing, like following all the steps to get that result. We've I've been so conditioned because I've embodied that, and and once I thought that I was going to get that thing, the result that I merely wanted, that I desired with my entire being, then I was going to be happy. Then I was going to be successful. Then I was going to become this, powerful woman. Let me tell you that is not the freaking case. You have nothing to do. And this is almost a message for myself. Like I had nothing. I had to do nothing to freaking notice my power. I just had to remember it. I had to look inwards and almost cry out, show my true self to myself, and sit with it and be with that girl that tried to fit in, that girl that deemed her late, that good girl that followed the rules, that good girl that didn't want to rebel, or, you know, I feel with my entire body every time I do these types of lives because it really opens it really opens my heart into ways that every day is a different type of truth. Every day it's a different type of story that may be enlightening for others. It may be that I was showing up not authentic by being that freaking good girl because I was so embodied that I needed to do the thing to need it to freaking accomplish to then have power, to then be worthy. We have no idea how much we've embodied this, and this are the type of stories that are running in the back of our mind that is crying out for our help every time of the month that we have our menstrual cycle, for example. When you go from performing to magnetizing, that's when you take out the mask. When you go from, hi, thank you so much for showing up. However, I need to work and need to get some stuff done. Sorry, I won't be able to attend to you. Say to start saying no for yourself, to start saying yes when it really means yes, and freaking changing your mind if you need to change your mind, not accepting anything less than what you deserve. When you start launching courses, things, when you start acting from inspiration, not from pressure, not from, oh my God, I have to do it. And then otherwise, I'm not going to get the goal. What? Completely different thing, completely different energy. So stop filtering your voice, stop filtering how you look, stop filtering your truth. Start asking yourself if you're really embodying her, if you're really truly transforming yourself. So, the art of becoming, the course I've launched, oh my God, it has shifted things in me that I'm almost like, I thought I was already embodied in this. Like, what's going on? It has shifted me week by week in things like way beyond what I teach. It's like, yes, I tell you, the lecture or I don't know, energy, how energy works. However, our emotion, our body has to come with us. Our emotions are holding us down from everything that we've been through. So if you, for example, maybe if I I had a lot of lack, a lot of scarcity, a lot of I would say a lot of addicted, a lot of suffering as a child. Not as like being poor, however, like there wasn't a family, like a happy dynamic when I was a child. So I was focusing only on those areas. That was almost pulling me down to show up as unauthentic, to focus on the bad rather than the good. That was me showing up as the good girl, showing up as, oh my God, saying yes when I really meant no. That was me. When you truly, that was me not accepting help. Why? Because I never had help before. I had to do it all alone. I had to contain, um, I don't know, I had to contain it all together. Like I had to be numb because I needed to provide structure, and I needed to be there for my brother. And when you really truly sit with these types of emotions that are screaming out to you to shape you into the woman that you are really meant to be, that's when this transformation happens. That's when the art of becoming really happens. I'm so happy to be here and sharing you this. I can't believe we've gone so long talking about transformation, talking about authenticity, but I can really share so much. And if you're feeling called, I'd love to hear you, what you're going through. And if you're feeling called to transform your life, stop making freaking excuses into getting the thing. I invite you to join the art of becoming, because it will shift you in ways that you will never imagine. It will give you that emotional resilience, that emotional depth and knowledge to encounter um, situations, to encounter circumstances with knowledge, and being able to handle them in ways that you're going to surprise yourself, in ways that are going to be so fulfilling to you, because you, at the end of the day, whatever you want, whatever your desires are, they are your future self, because you're already holding on to the desires, but you have to unmask that version of yourself that is freaking holding you down. Thank you so much for being here. This was really, really fulfilling. Um, but yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you for your presence. I hear you, I see you, I feel you. If you have any questions, please let me know. It was really good. If you are feeling called into joining the art of becoming, please do so. I left the transformation link, the link on the description box, and join, because we are still going with the classes. They are not live classes. They are recorded classes. So I love you guys so much, and I'll wait for you inside. Okay. Bye.